All right, we should be live. Give me 1 sec, guys. I did not start the chat. All right, there we go. If you guys typed anything, go ahead and retype it. I did not see it. SPY and ES losing that pivot that we put in earlier. Not yet. Coming to retest the pivot that we just put in, but we're losing the old pivot that we tested earlier. That buy pressure didn't last very long. Good thing we closed our little scalp on the bottom. Let me update our thumbnail real quick and then we'll get started. All right, we should be good to go. Let me pull up the chat. I'm muted in Discord. Let me double check. No, we're okay. All right, so nothing really crazy happened today. We had a nice gap up on SPY, but it couldn't hold on to it. You had really bad inflation numbers come out. We had some economic reports come out that were all pretty bearish, but well, bearish long term. Them showing inflation skyrocketing like that, typically prices have to increase, right? If inflation is going up. So we had a nice gap up on that inflation report, but then that was it. It gapped up and then instantly went straight down. You filled the gap. You tried to find a little bit of buy pressure on that gap. You can see how we kind of started bouncing here, or at least consolidating, but then you nuked right through that. So very bearish day. You have that kind of lowercase b, where we have the major volume node towards the low, and then we have a lot of price action, or sorry, a lot of smaller volume nodes towards the high, but there's no real strong volume node towards the high. All the major volume is towards the low. So we have a long tail of small nodes on the top, and then we have the major node towards the bottom. So it gives you that kind of lowercase b shape, telling you that the sell volume is much stronger, the sellers are much stronger than the buyers. Okay, so we're coming into kind of a double bottom here, where we could see almost like a bulldog, where we have that bottom here curved back. We could put in a double bottom and pop up and kind of start a nice uptrend, but there really is no buy pressure just yet. We don't have any buy pressure coming in. The volume is very low, so we don't see a lot of buyers stepping in on SPY or Qs. So I would not be predicting that that bulldog just yet. I would probably wait to see if we do put in that double bottom. Then if we start to pop up, then you could probably predict the bulldog, but as of right now, not really getting those buyers. What's going on, Hardwick? One thing that I did want to talk about today was uranium stocks. We've been mentioning them on stream for the past few weeks here and there, but not really paying too much attention to them. And CCJ, one of the biggest uranium stocks in Canada, they are just going straight up. It's absolutely ridiculous. They have not stopped. They're just gapping up and gapping up and gapping up constantly. And they're approaching 25 already, and they bottomed around, what was that, 15, not only 2 weeks ago. So pretty massive gain on them. I was reading some articles in Discord earlier today where they're talking about how the supply of uranium is actually going to go down as the demand is starting to go up. So you're getting kind of a supply crunch like we were seeing in our shipping companies. So pretty much the same thing that we're seeing in like Zim, Maddox, NMM, the shipping companies, how they're getting a massive supply crunch. You're seeing supply is stagnating or it's going down as demand is skyrocketing, giving you that increase in prices. So you're basically seeing the same thing on uranium. They're talking about how there's all these pushes for clean energy going on, and uranium, nuclear energy, is the cleanest energy that can provide a shit ton of power, right? You're seeing a lot of like little stories in some states or in some countries where they're trying to shift away from coal and go into more like electric or not electric, excuse me, solar. So they're trying to shift more into like a clean energy, if you will, but they're getting blackouts, right? They're getting rolling blackouts. They can't sustain their energy usage with the clean energy. You could do that with nuclear pretty easily. The only problem with nuclear is these plants take a very long time to build and to maintain, right? So they're not as easy as starting up like a solar farm, okay? With that said, we're seeing demand across the board. We're seeing people buy up a lot of spot uranium, like these companies, like I was talking about in Discord. What was it? Sprott? How do you spell that? It was like SPROTT. Yeah, right here. Sprott. This one right here. Physical Uranium Trust. They're gonna go live on the U.S. stock market pretty soon. But them alone are buying about 25% of the volume that we saw in 2020 entirely. So just this one company is already doing about a quarter of the spot volume that we saw all last year. Okay, so they're buying a shit ton of uranium, and you have a lot of other companies kind of following suit and buying a bunch of spot uranium as well. So I would definitely keep an eye on the uranium companies. We had a little list in Discord. Let me name some of these. CCJ is obviously the biggest one. I'd keep an eye on CCJ. There's also UUUU. This one is another uranium company. This one is breaking out just like CCJ, but it hasn't broken its range high just yet. So CCJ has broken the range high. This one has not. So keep an eye on that. If it can get above like 750, 730, this could start pushing pretty hard. Another one was, what was that other one? It was like a penny stock. I think it's Ura. No, not Ura. Ura is the ETF. So Ura is an ETF of a bunch of smaller uranium companies. So this one kind of follows CCJ. Very, very similar price action. So keep an eye on that one if you guys like trading ETFs more than individual companies. Then we had URG, another uranium company here. They all pretty much look the same. The ones that you want to pay attention to are the ones that really haven't broken their 2021 highs yet. And then we had DNN, another one as well. This one's breaking out of the high from like June and July, but has not broken the February high. But definitely the front runner of all of them, and the number one that you want to be watching, is CCJ. I actually started selling some naked puts on this one. I'm selling some $20 puts for October. So I think even if I get assigned and I have to buy those shares at $20, I'm okay with that. This is a long-term play. So collecting premium in the short term and then maybe picking up some shares later on. It's not a bad idea. Hey, native binary, Sarish, what's going on, guys? Binary said in some European countries are closing down the nuclear power plants for some reason. Yeah, well, the thing with the nuclear power plants is some of the plants in those European countries are very, very old. So that might be one of the reasons. They're probably just extremely outdated. Yeah, like Sarish said, that's the biggest problem with nuclear. The plants take like a decade to build. They take like 10 years to 15 years to build properly. So switching to nuclear power, like just on a whim, is not possible. The thing with nuclear, though, people think it's like dirty energy. They think it's like extremely bad for the environment. Nuclear is cleaner than almost every other clean energy. The only problem is the plants. The plants are very hard to build. And then you have the accidents, right? You have like the Fukushima, you have Chernobyl, so it gives it a very bad vibe. Ryan said the Google weekly chart looks scary. Doji followed by an engulfing candle about to close. I don't really pay attention to Google too much, to be honest. Google is probably the last of the FANG companies that I pay attention to. It's actually not too bad of a candle. It is an engulfing candle, but you are hitting a trend. So if you look at this kind of trend here, we could take this one, or we could take this one here, which is kind of forking off of that trend, and we're testing that. So if it can maintain that trend, maybe bounce on Monday, doesn't look too bad. You're probably following Apple mainly. Apple had a nasty candle today. I'm not sure if you guys saw the news on Apple, but they've had a lawsuit going on with Epic Games, and the court has been favoring Epic Games in that lawsuit. So Apple's not doing too good in that court case. Sorry if I sound a little farther away. I'm standing up right now. I'm using my standing desk. I'm kind of yelling at the mic. Might be a little loud. SPY and Qs are getting wrecked right now. I took a little scalp today. I told you guys in Discord to watch that 30-minute close on ES. We were looking for that blue pivot to form, and you can basically, I've said this on stream a few times, if you guys have the OTS and you're a futures trader, you can basically scalp these 30-minute pivots every single time. Now, sometimes they're not going to work. Obviously, nothing's 100%. But their strike rate is extremely high. I'd say upwards of 75 to 80%. So if you have a blue pivot form and you start to push away from this pivot, you can scalp that for like 5 to 10 points almost every single time. And I scalped it for, what was it, 10 points. We went for 10 points and we closed it. Which was a damn near perfect close. It went up 15 points, so you could have got a little bit more. I closed it at 9 points. So it went up 9, and then it started struggling, and then I closed it. So it wasn't bad. But yeah, if you guys trade futures, 30-minute ES is the most important time frame to keep an eye on if you're using the OTS. The orange pivots are also very good, but they're not as good as the blue pivots because ES and SPY, they want to perpetually go higher. So the blue pivots are going to be stronger than the orange ones because the orange ones are trying to find tops, right? So finding tops are a lot harder to do. There's no echo. Did you change something in your room? I think it's just because I'm talking louder. I'm standing up and I'm talking louder. So it's probably drowning out the echo. What is your risk management on that? How many points? So because the strike rate is so high, I am confident in having a 1-to-1 risk to reward, which I typically would not have on any setup. It's one of the only setups that I am comfortable having a 1-to-1. So if I'm going for 10 points, I can risk 10 points or I can risk like 7 or 8 points. It doesn't have to be exact. But typically I look for 1.5-to-1 is my minimum. But with the 30-minute blue pivots, they are extremely accurate. So if you have a 1-to-1 risk to reward, you have to have over a 50% win rate to break even, right? To make a profit. So if you have somewhere of 70 to 80% strike rate, then you can have a 1-to-1 and still make a comfortable profit. Okay. That's what I was trading, JJ. I was trading the mini, the micro. When they lower the collateral and they lower and SPY goes back to a lower volatility market, I'll go back to trading ES. But for now, because the volatility is so high, I'm trading micros. How does the OTS work? Do we get a trigger? I'm talking about the blue pivots here. So when the blue pivots close, they're set in stone. So when that candle closed, that pivot closed, right? And that pivot is not going to move. It's going to stay there forever. So when those blue pivots close, as you can see, pretty much every single one, you could have ignored that one because that was on like an opening candle that wasn't on a down move. But any blue pivots that are on down moves like this, once they close, you can take them for at least 5 to 10 points almost every single time. Hey, Brett. He said, what are the pivots you refer to? It's one of the, yeah, it's the Oasis trading suite. The Oasis trading suite right here. You see these blue candles? Those are pivots. We have the blue ones and we have the orange ones. If I hide all this other stuff, you guys can see, this is what I'm talking about. These little pivots right here. The horizontal lines. We're actually breaking a pivot right now, which is pretty bad. We don't have any pivots down here to support us either. Yeah, there's really no support until you get down to like 44.50, to be honest. But yeah, since the options market has been a little hairy recently, I've been getting back into scalping futures a lot more. Yeah, JJ, it's just on TradingView. If you have the indicator pulled up on TradingView, it will do all that stuff for you. You can set alerts too. So like if you want to go here, you can go to Oasis Trading Suite and you can go to new pivot high, new pivot low. The blue pivots are pivot lows. So if you set that alert, when it triggers a new pivot, it will let you know. So you don't have to stare at it. If you guys are Discord members, either the 199 tier or the quarterly tier, you guys get this indicator for free. So if you guys are in Discord and you don't have this indicator, just send me a DM and I can help you guys out. We also sell it separately. It's currently on sale for $39 a month. And we also have one-time fees as well if you want to look into it. Out of all the indicators that we have, I would say it's probably the easiest one to learn because it's very, very simple. There's nothing really fancy about it that you have to like think hard about. It does everything for you. You have a 5-minute pivot coming in. 1 minute's getting a little bearish here. What plans do we have? We have 39 a month. I don't know off the top of my head the price of the quarterly, but we have a quarterly and then we have a one-time. I think the quarterly is like 80 something. I'm not sure. What's up, Poncho? What's going on, man? If you trade futures, less than a 1-point move and you'll make your money back on the indicator. And I can almost guarantee you'll get more than 1 point out of the pivots on the futures. Nasty move here on SPY and Qs. Let me screenshot this. I like looking at trade ideas because it makes it really simple. This is on my other monitor here. You can see the sell pressure. You see the, this is the 21, the blue line, that's the 21 EMA. And then we have the 50 standard moving average. And you can see they're kind of fanning out to the downside. This is very strong sell pressure. So if I was looking at, say, scalping some longs on futures, you really would not want to see price action like this. This price action is going against you, right? You'd want to be seeing price action like this when it was uptrending. But if you are reversal trading, then it's okay to see price action like that because you are trading against the trend, right? If you're trying to breakout trade or like follow the trend, you don't want to be seeing price action like that. Uh, 21 EMA and 50 moving average is what I use on my other monitor. Those are on the 1-minute charts, and then I have 30-minute charts over here as well. If you guys are traders, I highly recommend getting an ultra wide. You can put so many different charts on them. These are my 30-minute charts for SPY and Qs, and I only use a 200 EMA. As we can see, we're losing the 200 here. So when I'm scalping, I try to follow those 1-minute and 30-minute charts as much as I can. Qs is approaching the 200 right now, getting very close. SPY rejected its 200. Do I have this set up so you can see it? Let me see. Oh no, I can't. Never mind. I can't show it on stream. That's why they banned me last time. IWM still putting in the head of the bulldog. It's still bullish, honestly, on IWM as long as it holds on to this like 220 area. How's Starbucks and Nvidia doing? The semiconductor sector was getting a little bullish today. Let me see. Starbucks was also doing pretty good this morning. Starbucks closing decently strong, up 1%, not too bad. Nvidia, I believe, was having a good day. Yeah, bouncing off the daily pivot. As long as it stays above like 222, it looks pretty good. The biggest name today that I saw in my scanners was Bumble. Bumble was killing it. Bounced off the OTS trail, gave you, what was it, like a 10% trade? Yeah, 10 to 15% off the OTS trail. So massive move there on Bumble. You're hitting the anchored VWAP from the IPO candle. So if we can stay above this like $60 area, this looks really good on Bumble. They were getting massive volume today. Our shippers continuing to go up. Another 2% on Zim, another 2.5% on Maddox, another 2% on NMM. It's getting insane at this point. How many of you guys are in my shipping plays? You're in Zim, Sarish? Nice. You were here when I was first talking about it 2 months ago? Yeah, dude, it was a while back. Yeah, I probably wouldn't hop in them now unless you're like playing small size. It's a little late. Like I was talking about them way back here, and then I said the dollar cost average on any pullback. It gave us that big pullback, and now we're up like 75, 77%. So if you bought the pullback, you're up massively. You could have bought the breakout. So like if you bought the breakout around here, you'd be up about 20%, but you can't really buy up here. If it pulls back to retest the breakout, that could be a buy. SPY is just getting hammered. New lows constantly. All right, give me a second. I'm gonna move my desk back. You can see the Momo is trying to bottom. It's trying to give you these little bottoms here, but you just keep putting in new lows. Trying to bottom here, new low. So a lot of weakness here. You can see the OTS trail. You've been red since way back here, almost at the open. That's like 1 o'clock. So since 1 o'clock, you've just been nuking. CCJ, another 600,000 calls today, almost no puts. I posted a bunch of those in Discord. If you guys check the Cheddar Flow channel, we had some big ones on the November 19th, what is that, 30s, November 19th, 23s. We also had October 15th, 30s. They're buying the 30s that are pretty far out of the money. Yeah, Pancho, I'm not trading any crypto right now while Bitcoin's being really sketchy. Bitcoin is at a spot where it could easily nuke another 10%, or it could bounce really heavily. So it's just not a very good spot to be trading alts. It's kind of like I took that Atlas trade. I told you guys on stream. We got stopped out on that one. The second Bitcoin started going down, Atlas started tanking. So to be honest, if you're trading crypto right now, I'd be focusing on trading Bitcoin or Ethereum. Trade the big boys until they settle down. Looks like another new low coming. We haven't had a 1 minute close over the 50 since 1:30. Pretty bad. Not a good close going into the weekend. Pretty nasty weekly candle on SPY and Qs. Another new low. So when the Momo flattens out like this, the trend line, that means the trend is very strong, very stable, very healthy. So this trend, this bearish trend is very, very strong. Where's that level that I said we could go down to? Let me see. I think we're almost there. Yeah, we're almost there. So like 44.55 to 44.50 is the next major support. We're almost there. You can see the Momo is pinching bearish. As I've told you guys many times, when the Momo pinches, you do not want to be on the wrong side of the pinch. So if it's pinching bearishly, you want to be following that bearishly. Look at this gap on Qs. We're going to come fill this pretty soon. 376. Is there one there on SPY? So the SPY one we just filled. This gap has been filled. We do have another gap on SPY way down here at 443. So if we see some bearish pressure on Monday, that could be where we're going. Disgusting price action we're seeing here. If you guys didn't see those inflation numbers, they were bad. We're breaking records for like how bad our prices are rising and how bad our inflation is rising. We've all been saying this for what, 2 years now. Anybody who has been trading for a while, we've been seeing them pump trillions and trillions of dollars into the economy. You can't do that without seeing inflation. They've been trying to hide the inflation and say it's not there, but it's clearly there. We're seeing home prices be inflated. We saw lumber prices get inflated. We're seeing meat prices get inflated. Literally, used cars being inflated. Literally every single part of the market, the actual market, not like the stock market, every single piece of the actual market is being inflated. The biggest sign of all of them was when we were talking about it in Discord months back, the used car market. That is insane what we're seeing on the used car market. You could have a car that you bought at, say, $20,000 5 years ago, and you drove it for 5 years, and you put some miles on it. You put a lot of miles on it, right? Maybe even got into an accident or whatever. Some of those cars are selling for the exact same price they were selling 5 years ago, before they had the accidents, before they had the miles. Like, that's how bad the market is. If you leased a car a year ago and it was still under lease, you could buy your car out of the lease and sell it to the dealership and make a profit. So you could have driven that car for a year, bought it, and sold it back to the dealer and made money. Excel, I don't have the numbers off the top of my head. If you look at Zero Hedge or Delta One or First Squawk, they'll have the numbers. I read the numbers in the morning and they go straight over my head after that. I don't memorize them. Do we have a lot of economic talks next week? Let's see. Nothing big on Monday. Nothing big on Tuesday. Wednesday, we have a Fed talk. Williams. Thursday, we have FOMC. We have two FOMC talks on Thursday. Daly and Evans. 4 talks on Thursday. Daly, Evans, Bowman, and Williams. So Thursday's huge. And then Friday we have no talks, but we have PPI, employment, unemployment, all that stuff on Friday. ES monthly VWAP at 4440. Let's see. Yeah, we're coming into it. And I talked about this on stream, like a week or two ago. I told you guys, almost all these VWAPs, 1, 2, 3, like all the way back, they've almost all been tested. If we go back to every monthly VWAP since the COVID nuke, we've tested almost every single one. There's a few that we have not tested. So like this one wasn't tested on the way back. Let's see. This one wasn't tested. So not all of them, but almost. You see, this one we just barely didn't test. I count that as a test, so that's close enough. Tested this one, tested this one, tested that one. This one we didn't. This one we did. Tested that one as well. Tested that one as well. So out of the past 10, we've tested like 7 or 8 of them. So getting this test on the monthly VWAP is probably guaranteed at this point. Not too big of a drop on SPY, leading us down to like 444. But if Q's tested the monthly VWAP, that's pretty bad. It's almost 10 points. Make sure if you guys are enjoying the content to hit that like button. And if you guys are new to my content, make sure to subscribe. I do stream 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, 3 p.m. Eastern. If you guys want to learn more about trading, go check out my How to Trade playlist on YouTube. There's about 25 videos on there that go over my trading techniques. It's a little early to tell, SR. Not too many things are testing support just yet. Most of the like big names they're close to support, but they're not there. Like Microsoft's not there yet. Apple is very close to testing its monthly VWAP. Facebook just failed a daily pivot, so you can't really do that. Netflix not on support. Amazon failing our 3551 target almost to the dollar. Yeah, almost to the dollar. And then Tesla could go for a gap fill, so also not there yet. Very close. We've got a little bit more room to go down on almost all of them. Look at this sell pressure. This is ridiculous. We've gone down 2 points with almost no buyers whatsoever. Any chance you could look at ASX? ASX. This is clearly not an American company because it has a lot of gaps, so I'm assuming it's a foreign company. Very choppy chart. I do like this little trend that we're on. So it looks like it's finding a lot of weakness kind of around this high right here. But we have a very obvious trend on the weekly. So a lot of buyers down here around the $8.75 to like $9 area, but not a lot of buyers up here. So buying up here is hard. Buying down here seems like it's a lot easier. Probably could go for a gap fill, but the gaps don't matter so much on this because it's a foreign company. So the gaps are just a difference in open. This girl's walking a French bulldog outside my house, like the cutest bulldog I've ever seen. What are my thoughts on Zoom? Let me take a look. So Zoom, originally we were looking at this triangle here where you had the very obvious range high being retested, and then we have a very obvious trend right here. We came down to try to test that again, then we broke it and then failed it bearishly. So this is clearly pretty bearish, this whole little price action right here. But we are approaching a massive support. The kind of bottom that we put in May that led us up with the earnings, right? So this could turn into a little weekly bulldog. We have that kind of resistance that turned into support, and now we're coming back to retest it, excuse me. So as long as you're okay with a drawdown to like 275, it's a pretty big drawdown. If you're okay with a drawdown of like 30 to 40 points, this could be a massive buying opportunity back into the 400 to 500 area. But you very easily could retest that support. I do like that we are putting a little bulldog in here. Could see something like that. Look at this sell pressure, man. This is brutal. Is there a monthly? No, there shouldn't be. I was going to say, is there a monthly options expiration here? But it shouldn't be. I think it's the next week of September. What time is it? We have 10 minutes left. We want to see some kind of buyers step in here in the next 10 minutes. Another new low. So like here is another example. Look at this on my other monitor. This is brutal. You see this increase in volume? Look at this volume. This is brutal. This means that this is not just like a fake out. This is clearly longs exiting and shorts entering, right? People are taking this to the downside and people are panic selling their longs. And we're not seeing it to that massive extent on Qs, but we do have a good amount of volume down here. But this is brutal on SPY. This increase in volume as you're nuking like this, that's bad news. Very clear rejection too. Look at this chart. This is the 30-minute chart, little snapshot of the 30-minute. This is the 200 EMA on the 30-minute. Very clear support. Very clear support. Nuked it, and now we're pulling back to retest it, and it did not like that whatsoever. As we can see right here. Buyers are trying to step in here. 1.3 million just came in on the buy side. Little pivot coming in, showing that influx in volume. Do we have room to 441? What do you mean? Like, can we go down to 441 pretty easily? There's a lot of support around 444. So I wouldn't call for 441 just yet. There's a gap here, monthly VWAP. There's a lot of support right here. Look at how flat the trend line is. When the trend line's that flat, it's very bearish. Notice how even the short-term momentum on the Momo has not been able to flip bullish basically at all. You tried to flip back here and it instantly got rejected. So short-term, sellers are in control. Long-term, sellers are in control. What's going on, criminal? Doing good, man. Doing good. Staying busy, you know? I think Q's just lost to 200. Yes, it did. This is very bad. We have not lost to 200 on Q's since August 20th. This would have been a really nice short. I haven't been looking for short scalps. All of my scalps recently have been long scalps, but this would have been a beautiful short scalp. Selling that retest of the 200 EMA in hindsight was very good. Yeah, criminal. I missed out on mana, man. I remember I used to shill mana on stream. I was like the only guy in the community that would preach mana every day. And then mana just ripped recently and I wasn't even in it. I have so much it's like bad luck with mana. Like I have really good trades with mana, but then like the next day after I sell, they have news announcements that make them pump like hundreds of %. Mana should have been the thing that I made like millions and millions of dollars off of. Like out of all the plays that I've done through my trading career, mana should have been the one that made me filthy rich. Because I preached that thing like every day. But I didn't have the patience, man. I couldn't hold on to it for that long. This is brutal, man. Look at this. Yeah, Doodle, I feel you. Your soul would be worth 40k. Dude, my mana would be worth hundreds of thousands. You 30x your investment in mana? You held on, man? Nice, dude. What's it doing right now? I can't believe it broke $1, dude. It almost went to $2. That's sickening. Sickening, man. I still have charts in Discord where I was calling out this this weekly bull div right here, which was the generational bottom. This weekly bull div on the Momo back in 2019, when it was 2 pennies, we were calling that thing out in Discord, on Twitter, and then we sold it for a nice little gain during this pump right here. But then in hindsight, it went like this. So we had a really good sell because then it nuked, but then we didn't buy it back for this massive run. Coulda, woulda, shoulda, right? I don't beat myself up about mana because every time that I sold mana, I made a really good profit. So it's not like I was trading it poorly. I just was unlucky, really. Like the first couple times I sold it, they had news announcements literally within the next few days. The last time that I sold it, I had to move money around, and I was up like 20+%, so it was like an easy sell. Yeah, criminal. That's one thing that I should have did that I never did back in the day was buy the actual land, like buy the actual the parcels of land. You could have gotten rich as hell off that stuff. Especially now that people are using the parcels of land to build like NFT art shows. Like now that it actually has a use, you'd make so much money, dude. What do I think about longing Chewy? I think JMA is long Chewy right now. He's either long or he's thinking about longing. But I don't like it below this pivot. It has to hold above that pivot around like 76, and then it would look a little better. They missed earnings, which is crazy. You wouldn't expect them to miss earnings. Yeah, virtual land. They have a virtual world doodle, and you can buy pieces of the world like parcels. And if you want to buy like a bunch of land, you can buy a bunch of parcels that connect together, and then you can do whatever you want with it. People have like casinos, like they got all kinds of stuff. They build like little video games. It's like Second Life or like Sims, but it's like virtual reality. It was one of those things that I used to preach like every day on stream, but I never had any land. I had a bunch of mana, but I never had any land. I should have bought some land. Oh, there's that level that I was calling out, the 1 hour level. That's disgusting that we got that on today's price action. I thought we were going to get that next week. That is absolutely disgusting. Very, very bad close. It could be worse. It was only like 1%. It wasn't too big of a deal. But closing like that into a Friday, into the weekend, that's brutal. Have I ever used the Radium decks? I'm farming on Radium right now. I'm farming Atlas and Ray. It's funny, I'm making more money off my Solana that I have in my wallet for fees. I'm making more money off Solana going straight up than I am off my farm. It's ridiculous. Yeah, I use it for you have to like swap your stuff on there and provide liquidity, so I've used it all for that. Did I sell all my crypto? Right now I'm all cash. Yeah. I'm not all cash actually. I'm like 80% cash, somewhere around there. Hey, have a good one, JJ. Yeah, so my weekly watch list, guys, it was really late last week because I was moving office to office. Now that my new office is set up, the weekly watch list will be released on Sunday. So make sure you guys keep an eye on the YouTube for Sunday. I'm gonna try to have it released a little earlier than I normally do. I normally do around like 4 p.m. I'm gonna try to have it released probably closer to lunchtime, so closer to like 12 o'clock. I'm going to see how well that time does. If that time does pretty well, we'll keep that as our standard time. Yeah, I saw that Kaplan got in trouble for having stocks, so he sold them all. It's so hypocritical of the senators or anyone in Congress to call out the Fed guys for having stocks when they're the biggest insider traders we've ever seen. The senators should not be allowed to have stocks. Like they should not be allowed to trade like that. They should have like an extremely regulated way to trade because they're in Congress, right? We have people like Pelosi. If you watch Pelosi's trades, guys, almost every single one of her trades is massive insider trading, and she makes millions off these trades. There's a website, I can't remember what it's called, but there's a website where you can go and you can look at all the senators and all the congressmen, all of their trades, and some of them are disgusting. ES is trying to bounce a little bit here after hours, but just a little too late. But all right, guys, I got to get going. I appreciate you guys all being here. We're actually hitting one of the biggest viewer numbers we've seen in a while, so I appreciate you guys all being here for sure. Spartan, what's going on, man? I haven't seen you in a while. Um, but yeah, we're almost at 50 viewers. I appreciate you guys being here. If you guys are new, make sure to hit that follow button on Twitch, subscribe on YouTube. I stream 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, 3 p.m. Eastern. I will not be streaming on the weekend, but I do release a weekly watch list every Sunday. So make sure you guys go to my YouTube on Sunday. I'm going to try to have it released around 12 p.m. Eastern. So definitely watch out for that. We go over SPY, Qs, Bitcoin, gold, oil, Ethereum. We go over our options and stock watch list for that week. So definitely a lot of information that you guys can get completely for free. So make sure to check that out. If you guys are interested in joining the Discord, it's the first link in my description in the YouTube. The analysis side of the Discord is only $1 a day. So make sure to check that out if you guys are interested. And yeah, that's all I got for you guys. Once again, appreciate you guys being here. And I will see you guys on Monday. Peace out, guys.